It is 6:30, so we'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Wilson, do you have a confirmation to the media?
Yes, ma'am. There were no doubts.
Thank you. And I do declare that we have a quorum with all board members present. And now we'll need a motion to approve our agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor? That's unanimous. We'll move forward with approval of the agenda. And I just want to welcome everyone here tonight. I appreciate you taking your time out of the day to be with us. And I do want to mention that we are proud. We've had a lot of sports teams this fall that have made it to different levels of playoffs. And I want to give a special shout out to our football team, the Raiders, for making it to the second round of playoffs. So we congratulate them and always go Raiders. And if we could do our Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Carpenter will lead us in that.
Let's say everyone to stand and salute the flag and please best and move your hat, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Now we'll need approval for our minutes for the meeting of October the 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 28th, 2021 work session and meeting.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor of the approval of the minutes for October 25th?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the motion that was made was September.
Yeah, I said September. October.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said it, yeah. So, let me correct that. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 25th, 2021 work session meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Seconded. All those in favor? That's unanimous. We will move forward. Now we'll have a report from Mrs. Brandon Addy from Hickory Tavern School.
Dr. Thomas, Madam Chair, and board members, it's my pleasure tonight to present to you a report from Hickory Tavern School. We are thrilled to be able to restore some normalcy to our school setting. Things started out rocky with our COVID numbers. We had a trifecta with a tornado, a power outage for several hours, and then a flood. So since then we have moved forward with a positive outlook. We have 3 goals. Our district goals are safety, both physical and emotional safety of our students and staff, high quality instruction, and improved student achievement. Our first order of business was this summer. We had several potholes and we had some drainage issues in our school parking lot. And Dr. Harris received several concerned citizens, or phone calls from concerned citizens about repaving this. So we got this done. We now have widened so that we have 2 lanes of cars coming onto the property, and they merge into 1 lane just before you get to the point where students get into the cars. And this has helped with congestion on Neely Ferry Road as well. And then we have installation of some new classroom cameras. This helps us to see what our students are doing, what our teachers are doing. It also helped when we were contact tracing to be able to see into the classrooms of how close folks are to each other. I hope to be able to install a few more into our middle school classrooms before the end of this school year. We have trained our staff for protocols such as all of our drills, earthquake, fire, intruder drills, and tornado drills. We didn't even have a drill on the first day of school. We had the real thing, so that was interesting. We've also trained our staff on the bleed control kits. There are 20 bleed control kits in our building, and that is in case of an emergency. We can stop the bleed until EMS gets here. We've also had training on the RAVE panic button app, where staff members who are invited to use the app can make 911 calls from anywhere on campus using their cell phone. With safety of our students, with student security, we have had presentations from Beyond Abuse in Greenwood, teaching our younger students what is and is not safe touch of their bodies. We trained them to go to a trusted adult and explain to them who is a trusted adult. We've also had some staff training with looking for signs of abuse, how to report that abuse, and that we are all mandated reporters in the building, and just the protocol of doing that, calling DSS or calling our sheriff's department. We've had lessons on social emotional learning daily through all grades, kindergarten through 8th grade. We have also done some presentations on suicide awareness and prevention. With our IDs that we have, you'll see on the next slide, we've also printed the suicide hotline number on the back of all of our student IDs for middle schoolers. And we have a mental health counselor Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday each week. Hickory Tavern and Sanders Middle School implemented IDs for middle school this year as a pilot. We tried to take a different approach to these IDs. We have positive reinforcement. When they do have their IDs on, we don't use them necessarily if they don't have it on, that they're an ISS or suspension or anything like that. But we do reward those who are wearing them to just so we can say, hey you, instead of saying hey you in the hallway, we can actually call them by name. If there is a 6th grader who's in an area with 8th grade teachers, so they may not know them, it just helps with knowing our names. Even though we are a community school, sometimes we don't know everybody's name in the building. Our second goal was high quality instruction. So we know that the number one factor for student achievement is the quality of the teacher in the classroom. And to improve that instruction, we have increased our time in classrooms. And when I say our time, I mean administration. We are doing a minimum of 10 observations a week, and that's all 3 administrators. And we want all students to plan lessons that are proficient or exemplary and according to the 4.0 rubric in the areas of instruction, environment, and planning. And in order to do this, we have differentiated our professional development. The district has asked us to focus on the indicators of standards and objectives, motivating students, and instructional plans. And we have done this through our PLCs and our vertical teaming. Our vertical planning session are on Tuesdays after school, and our PLCs are during planning periods on Thursdays. Our vertical planning involves our whole instructional leadership team. Mr. Cotney works with 4th through 8th grade science teachers. Ms. Brandy Moore works with 4th through 8th grade ELA teachers. Mr. Jeff Brink works with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade social studies teachers. I work with 5th through 8th grade math teachers. And Ms. Starling and Ms. Bragg work with our 4K through 4th grade teachers as they're strengthening the math workshop. Our most recent focus for PLCs and classroom observations is motivating students. We are looking for learning opportunities that are personally meaningful, relevant, and engaging for students, and also looking for opportunities where students are exploring, using their curiosity and inquiry skills instead of just what I like to call the sit and get. What you see here are pictures of 1st graders who are making books. You can see little Autumn is proud of her book that she made. And then we also are so glad that we are able to collaborate together this year. We don't have plexiglass on our tables, so students are more open to have quality conversations and play learning games with each other. With a focus on our high quality instruction in Tier 1, we should see an increase in student achievement. Our smallest Panthers are using Letterland curriculum to learn their letter names and sounds. And then all the way up to our largest Panthers who are in literature circles here. They had a choice of the literary genre that they wanted to read, and within that genre they had a choice of the book that they are reading. So they're not just reading something that from a forced list, they have actually chosen what they wanted to read. And then they have specific jobs within that team, and it makes it more meaningful and personalized. Also, with improving student achievement, we've strengthened our Tier 2 support and instruction. We have identified Tier 2 students based on their math percentile. Students who scored between the 20th and 50th percentile on their reading map and math map were placed on a Tier 2 list. And then we provided this information to teachers. The teachers then provide that additional time in reading and math instruction during the school day, and we progress monitor every 2 weeks on an 8-week cycle using the MobyMax system. With academic recovery, we all are aware that we have experienced some learning loss with COVID, so we have academic recovery tutoring 3 days a week for all students in 5K through 8th grade. We have 2 academic interventionists who meet with about 20 students a day, each one in grades K through 2. There are also some push-in time into their classroom to help with their math groups. And then we have the additional academic recovery interventionist that started in October, and she focuses on 3rd through 6th grade, and she also sees about 20 students daily. We celebrated American Education Week last week. We had parents write their favorite memories of the grade that their students are in now. We had one parent who was in 1st grade at Hickory Tavern School, and she wrote about me being in Miss Laura Denny's class. I thought that was very cool. We also gave muffins and juice out to parents in the car line. And we had, on Thursday, we had Educator for a Day, and students dressed like a teacher, a counselor, or an administrator, and Kaylin took it all the way to the no hair. She's wearing a bald cap, so she looked just like Mr. Hill. Then on Friday, we ended the celebration of American Education Week with a book character parade. The parents lined up outside along our car loop, and then we had students parade by showing off their costumes and their books. And this parade is on our Hickory Tavern Facebook page for parents who weren't able to join us in person. And if you'd like to see it, you can go to our Facebook page and see it. And we thank Miss Little for joining us on Friday. We had lots of fun. Does anybody have any questions about Hickory Tavern? All right.
Thank you, Ms. Patty. And I loved the character parade. And if you have not been to a character parade, you should go to one. It was very fun to watch the children. All right, moving along. Next, we have Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and those in the audience. It is with great excitement that I share some of the great things happening across Lawrence County School District 55. Our theme for this year is Be a Champion for every child, every chance, every day. As champions, we're focused on our goals of safety, high-quality instruction, and improved student achievement. Our mission statement of empowering and inspiring all to be educated and informed remains at the forefront of our thoughts and efforts as we make decisions based on what's best for all students. As noted in our district vision statement, Lawrence 55 prepares students for success in learning and careers through engaging challenging and personalized learning experiences. I would like to continue to encourage our families to participate in our reading initiative of Just Take 30. Students are asked to read for 30 minutes outside of the school day each day. Schools are doing different activities and hosting various events to help promote this reading initiative. On November the 24th, we hosted a lunch and learn event for realtors. This was a very rewarding event where we shared information about our district. And I'm sorry, this was not on the 24th. This was on Friday. We had a lunch and learn event for realtors, and it was a very rewarding event where we shared information about our district. We had productive discussions with the local realtors, and we started the planning process for continued partnerships. So as you can see, there's a picture that we took with the realtors, and it was a really good experience where we gained a lot of information, and the realtors also left with information that they could share as people are inquiring about moving to the area. So we want to continue this partnership, and we have made plans to continue with that. We will have a virtual town hall meeting on Tuesday, November 30th at 6 p.m. This will be an opportunity to discuss potential economic growth in our enrollment, our housing, industrial, and overall population. Please visit our district website at www.lawrence55.org to submit questions. You will also be able to submit questions and feedback during the town hall meeting. We will also have a legislative lunch on Wednesday, December the 8th, for the House of Representatives and Senate. This will be an opportunity for us to talk to our legislative delegation about Lawrence County School District 55 and have meaningful conversations and collaboration. Our next Parent Academy session is scheduled for December the 9th from 6 to 7 p.m. This session is great for both educators and parents, and the topic is strengthening the mental health of children and teenagers. You can register on the website, and you will also be entered to win door prizes. This session is free, but registration is required. As Ms. Addy mentioned earlier, we did celebrate American Education Week last week. So during that week, we had a different theme for each day, and we celebrated our public school community. This was a wonderful opportunity to celebrate public education and to honor individuals who are making a difference in ensuring that every child receives a quality education. On Wednesday, November the 17th, the Student Nutrition Department provided muffins and juice to parents in the drop-off line. And I would like to take this opportunity just to say a sincere thank you to all of our substitutes, our parents, our teachers, our staff, and administrators. Thank you all for all that you do each day and for your support of Lawrence County School District 55. The public is invited to review the textbooks and instructional materials. Go ahead. You can play it.
American Education Week is a time to celebrate Lawrence County School District 55, great public schools.
For their hard work and unwavering dedication to providing high-quality instruction and quality experiences for all of our students. Every child, every chance, every classroom, every day. Thank you for all you do to prepare our students to be leaders of tomorrow. Happy American Education Week. Together, we can educate our future one mind at a time. Lawrence 55 is truly a great place to be. Thank you. Now to the review of instructional materials. The public is invited to review the textbooks and instructional materials and to provide feedback. These items will be on display in 15 locations and through December the 9th. And so I do encourage everyone to take the opportunity to review the materials and to provide feedback. Additional information and details can be found on the State Department's website at www.ed.sc.gov. Congratulations to James Rawl, a junior at Lawrence District High School, for being named the Lawrence County Touchdown Club Player of the Week for his play in the first round playoff game against Easley. James was recognized at the November 18th meeting of the Touchdown Club, and we do want to congratulate him for being chosen as Player of the Week. Our champion student spotlight. Congratulations to Carly Forrester, first grader at E.B. Morse Elementary School, for being selected as the champion student spotlight by her school. She was selected for always being kind to others, always willing to help when needed, and for being a leader in the classroom and the school. Congratulations to Carly. We also have our champion induction teacher of the month for November. Congratulations to Ms. April Kingsborough, Montessori teacher at Lawrence Middle School, for being chosen as the November champion induction teacher of the month. Ms. Kingsborough brings a positive attitude and enthusiasm to impact her students and players on the Lawrence Middle School volleyball coach. She has initiated a turkey drive as well at the school to benefit the students and families who are in need this Thanksgiving. Congratulations to Ms. Kingsborough. Also, our champion administrator of the month for November, Mr. Andy Intrican, assistant principal at Lawrence District High School. He was chosen as the November champion administrator of the month, and we are very grateful for his dedication, hard work, and leadership. Congratulations to some more of our champion employees in Lawrence 55. A huge shout out to Ms. Gail Jones for being selected as the Spirit of 55 support staff of the month. She is the cafeteria manager at Forward Elementary School. And we're also very excited to announce that Ms. Ashley Jenkins, academic interventionist at Waterloo Elementary School, was selected as the Certified Spirit of 55 winner for this month. Congratulations to both of these individuals for their hard work, quality of work, and dedication. #Team Tuesday. This is an opportunity to highlight our staff and the wonderful work they do here in Lawrence County School District 55. On select #Team Tuesdays, we will spotlight an individual team member, a team, or a department. Congratulations to Dr. Anna Brink, Director of Federal Programs, Testing, and Professional Development, for being recognized during #Team Tuesday, the week of November the 8th through the 12th, and also Dr. Jody Penland, Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Services, who was recognized the week of November the 15th through the 19th. Thank you both for your hard work and dedication. Parents, please contact your child's school to confirm that the district has your up-to-date contact information, including email, mailing address, phone number. This will definitely help to ensure that you receive information and notices from the school and the district. Please also continue to visit the district's website at www.lawrence55.org. Visit your school's website and also follow us on social media. Please be on the lookout for our Message from the Superintendent newsletters, Times in 55 newsletters, Table Talk each Friday, and the Pride in 55 Connections podcast. It's definitely hard to believe that we are approaching the holiday season, but please mark your calendars for the upcoming holidays. Thanksgiving holidays, November 24th through the 26th. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish you all a safe and happy holiday season. And this Thanksgiving, we're thankful for many things. We're thankful for our partnerships. We're thankful for our families. We're thankful for good health. And we're thankful for safety for all. We also have winter holidays that are coming up. December the 17th is a half day for students. December the 20th through the 31st, all schools and offices will be closed. And January the 3rd is a staff development work day. Students will return on January the 4th. This concludes the district updates portion of the agenda, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thomas.
Okay. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Brink to share information regarding the Cognia diagnostic results and report.
Good evening. It is with great pleasure that I bring you some really great news as we have received our official report from Cognia from our October visit. Cognia defines continuous improvement as an embedded behavior rooted in the institution's culture that consistently focuses on conditions, processes, and practices to improve teaching and learning. So that's really what we were after through this Cognia process. And so now that we have received our results and findings, and you all received this in your board packet, so I didn't put all those tiny little charts up here because you weren't going to be able to see them anyway, but you can dig a little bit deeper into those. But when you look at this, the findings of the engagement review were based on 3 levels. Obviously, the insufficient, we don't really qualify that as a level. That would mean that there was not enough evidence there. The initiate would represent areas to enhance and extend current improvement areas. Improve pinpoints quality practices that are improving and meet the standards as outlined by Cognia. The impact demonstrates noteworthy practices producing clear results that positively impact the institution. So you will notice, and then just for public viewing, this shows you the 3 different areas of the Cognia review and the 3 different domains: leadership capacity, learning capacity, and resource capacity. And you can see very clearly we had no insufficient in any of those, and we also had no initiate either. All of our standards fell within the improving or the impacting area, which is a wonderful report from the Cognia group, the Cognia International Network, and so we are very pleased with that. That does not mean we don't have areas of improvement. Obviously, the 3 improve will give us areas that we can use as part of our strategic plan, as part of our school renewal plan, to look at the narrative that they have given us and go through and really get to the core of what we might want to start really focusing on. It also gives us validation when we see the areas of impact in each of those standards. The areas that we feel like we're doing well gives us some really good hardcore data that we do indeed are really feeling those strengths in some areas. The index of education quality is that quantitative number. It's that holistic measure of that overall performance. It's rated on a scale of 100 to 400. We got a similar score 5 years ago, so that's really the only similar score that you'll see. 5 years ago, our score was 301 and a little bit of change on the same kind of scale. And so this gives us that formative tool and also gives us a benchmark by which to measure all of the other programs in the Cognia Improvement Network. How are everybody else going through Cognia? How do we compare to that? It's not necessarily an apples to apples, but it does give us a benchmark. You can see that the average range of all Cognia Improvement Network institutions for the last 5 years is 278.34 to 283.33, and I am thrilled to tell you that our IEQ score was 338.06. So that is something that we can celebrate. It speaks volumes of what we're doing in our schools and our district. And so I hope that is good news for you all. That gives you something to hold on to instead of just giving up. It's coming for me every time. So our next steps will then, obviously we're reviewing and sharing our findings with our stakeholder groups. We'll develop our plans to address those areas that we have identified as areas of improvement. Use those findings and then data from that study and from the data that we collect as a district to guide and strengthen our continuous improvement efforts. We're going to celebrate. We are celebrating tonight. We were celebrating when we completed the process, but we have something to celebrate as a district this evening. And then we will continue on this improvement journey as we work towards those goals. So I will be glad to answer any questions, but I have great news to share tonight. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Buck. Next, we move on to our board operations, and we've got Dr. Penland.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Item for second reading, bring to you policy ADD, face coverings. This will be for second reading. It was presented last month in our 10/25 meeting, and we brought three versions. The version that you are reading now for second reading, and also we gave you the draft of the South Carolina School Boards and our current policy for review too. So this is up for second reading, and we'll need board action on this policy.
For us to be able to move forward and have some discussion, does anyone have, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve ADD, the face covering, with an amendment that we strike the last line of verbiage there.
What verbiage is that?
Where the board authorizes the superintendent and his or her designee to amend these requirements as necessary to meet the health and safety guidelines. I think if that language is in there, then there's no really reason to have the policy in place.
Okay, do we have a second?
No, second.
Is there any discussion?
If there are some changes even before we meet, don't you think somebody should be there to make sure that these are enforceable or carried out accordingly?
Well, I just think if you have the ability to amend the whole thing, then there's no reason to have the policy in place.
But, you know, like if there are certain parts of it that may be required, that there may be required for safety as well as health reasons.
Is that something that we could adjust that authorizes the superintendent to act upon health and safety guidelines until a call meeting can happen, or whatever, however you want to word it? Because if and when we think of this, we may think of COVID-19, but the way that we set this up was for any infectious disease, including COVID-19. So if there's something that comes out that is a infectious disease that needs immediate action, this gives the district the ability to make that immediate action, and then we can come together and determine how to move forward. But I think I agree.
Anything else?
I agree with Ms. Webb just for the health and the safety guidelines of immediate action.
This is specifically talking about face coverings only.
That's correct.
And I don't know that this terminology is in any of our other policies that relate to any pandemic. So I think that to adjust, as you're saying, I think we would need to vote and then do another motion.
You can offer it as a friendly amendment to the motion as stated if you wanted to. But whoever made the motion would have to accept that. Back to the discussion on this, the way you presented it there and striking this. You have to be a little nimble at times too, but I think that's assumed in the role anyway. And we didn't have anything like this when we had to shut down schools in March of 2020, and we're able to do that. So I don't know that it's necessary to have that wordage in there, but I don't know.
So what's the intent of the motion?
Just to strike the last sentence out of the.
Well, I think in all honesty, reading this, I think the policy itself covers that without that wording being in the policy.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
And the reason I say that is, reduce the spread of infectious disease, including the 2019 coronavirus, the district recognizes the infectious disease prevention strategies are critical to protect staff members and students. Therefore, the district will consider the circumstances in the community and consult local health officials for the implementation of this policy. So that gives them the ability to make that decision without that verbiage in the policy.
Well, to me, giving that authority to the superintendent or the designee just says, I got clear guidance, in case of an emergency or what have you. What have you.
Is there any further discussion? All right, with no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote on the motion as presented, and that would be to approve policy ADD face coverings with the striking of the last sentence. All those in favor?
Striking of the last sentence.
Right. Approving the policy with the last sentence stricken from it, with that amendment. So all those in favor? So that's 4. Ms. Wilson, all those opposed? 3. The motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is first reading of policy JICA, student dress, and also tagging onto that for information, the administrative rules, JIAA rule, sexual harassment and retaliation for students, JIAB-R, discrimination, harassment, and retaliation for students, and JICA-R, student dress. These policies and rules were discussed during the board work session on September 28, 2021, and the revisions that were discussed during that board work session are presented as words stricken in the policy and rules.
Thank you, Dr. Penland.
So we would need, as the process, we would need board action for first reading.
I didn't think, do we need board action?
Okay.
I don't think we need board action
first
for
reading.
first
That's right.
reading.
They can
Sorry.
discuss it. And
Let's keep it on the roll.
Can I note something for the record? Because I wasn't at that meeting, and that's my fault, but that's okay. Because I wasn't at that meeting, just a question to you. Do we have children, because most of this contains gender identity with our students and everything, do we have anything to show that we have students who have identified in our...
I don't have documentation of like how many we have students that are identified as a different gender. I know of circumstances, but I couldn't tell you numbers or anything like that.
Okay. So if we don't have any students identified, because I know it's required in power schools as well, is it not?
They are starting a field that has been rolled out through Power School for federal gender, which is the gender that they are recorded at birth, to be documented, and they're opening up fields, but it is not a required section and put those other fields, but they have swapped over the gender identification in Power School as federal gender to be noted.
And the reason I say that, I know there are laws here that we have, and just to, these cases are being discussed even as we speak now. Even though we have not or voted on this yet, I just kind of want to go on record, Ms. Wilson, to say that that is a very soft field when we talk about gender, and we don't need to deny students or anybody else of their legal rights. And if we are going to do that, or are believers of what we believe in, we should follow the laws of the land. So that being said, I'm having some different feelings because I don't agree with striking that because parents have, there have been cases that have been put out there. And if anybody ever looked at their Halligan, Mahoney, and Williams newsletter from September 23rd, they cite different cases. And these were just recent cases. So I urge every one of the board members and those in the audience to really get that information and read it. It is definitely here. But I do want to go on record to say that, in following these laws, I think that we have to be very careful because I think we might be opening ourselves up for a lawsuit. So we need to think about that.
Thank you for your comments, but I don't think any changes that are on the table are infringing upon anyone's rights or laws, and that is something that was discussed at the meeting, and I know you couldn't attend, and that's okay, but that was something that we did discuss at the meeting, and the notations and the laws in South Carolina that support these policies do not reflect this terminology. They don't match. So we are going back to matching what the law in South Carolina reflects.
We can match it, but those are real, and we still need to, be. And it could happen, Kathy. It could happen.
But we're not.
It could happen. I'm just letting the record reflect that that's what I said.
And that's fine. And
and I'm entitled to speak as well. This is discussion, so I'm entitled to speak as well. Okay.
I'm not saying that you can't speak.
You kind of cut me off. You really kind of cut me off.
This is just the first reading, so we would be able to have, anyone would have the opportunity to review information as you have suggested, and then we would be able to have discussion.
But I just wanted to put mine out for the record now, and I wanted everybody to know where I stood on this, because it's a very soft area. And if some of us may have children who may say that this is one of what they feel like, and some of us may not. Family members or whomever, but this is real and it's out there. It really is.
Thank you, Ms. Ware.
You're welcome.
Dr. Pennell?
Any further questions? Thank you. Ms. Madden?
Good evening. I am here tonight to present the following policies for first reading. Policies GBA, GBAA, GBAC, GBEE, GCE, GCF, and GDF. And these policies do contain the changes that were discussed at the September 28th work session. I'm also here to present the administrative rules for information for GBAA-R, GBAC-R, and GCF-R. Are there any questions about the changes?
Well, Ms. Mann, some of the same things apply here. Yes, as I said, with the student, it does apply here with staff too, especially sexual orientation and identification of a person as far as homosexuality even. So there are cases out there too that are being studied and that have been held in court, some held up, some not, but some of them have. Again, referring back to the bullet that we got from Halligan, Mahoney, and Williams from September 23rd, 2021. I would urge all of the board members, like I said, to read it.
And thank you, Ms. Ware. And the same comments from before. We are mimicking the exact state laws that are noted in these particular policies that they're driven from. Thank you, Ms. Madden. Now we have Mr. Jim Wallace for our financial report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
our balance on hand with the treasurer as of October 31st of this year was $2,704,453. Our general fund revenues for the period, for the fiscal year to date through October 31st, revenues of $10,621,336, with expenditures during that same period of $12,386,351, for a difference of $1,765,015. Maybe you will recall that this is the time of year when the tax revenues are really slim, but the expenditures are relatively stable, and so we find ourselves in the fall in a declining cash balance. That is normal. We have not had to withdraw on the tax anticipation note that we took out as of yet. November is likely our low point, so things are looking good in that regard. Our tax collections for the month of October were $770,774. Anyone have any questions about the financial report?
Mr. Love, I have one question. So the revenues and expenditures from year over year are fairly similar,
Yep.
But the balance with the treasurer seems to be substantially different.
That's correct. Keep in mind that the balance with the treasurer is not just the general fund. The balance with the treasurer reflects all funds, be it various state funds and some federal funds, mainly state funds where we receive allocations. They're for a specific purpose. Some of our funds are, we spend the money and then submit for reimbursement. A lot of those are our federal funds, and that's what creates situations like this where we've expended funds. It's not reflected in the general fund. They will be reimbursed. We have to submit. I know we've got some budgets outstanding with the Department of Education that we're still finalizing with them, and we can't submit claims on those regular recurring grants until those budgets are finally approved and finalized. So we kind of run into this. We ran into some last year, and we had a big block of revenue come in at one time. So, but it's just the fact that not all money at the county belongs through the general fund. But what we present here, what the board has discretion over, our general fund accounts. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson, do we have participations for public participation tonight?
Yes, ma'am. We have 3, and I just have them in alphabetical order, if that's okay. The first one is Mr. Gregory Fielder Amon, and the topic is divorce.
Okay. Go ahead and give me all 3 names if you want.
Okay, I can do that. The second is Reverend David Kennedy. The topic is racism and justice.
Okay.
The third is Mrs. Elma Morrison, and the topic is school board meetings and words of thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Before we call anybody up, I'm just going to read our statement that has been provided to us by our attorney, and that is individuals who submitted the required form for the public participation portion of the meeting are strongly encouraged to maintain appropriate decorum while addressing the board. Please remember that this is a meeting of a public school board, and children may either be in attendance or watching via live stream. Please use appropriate language reflecting the nature of the meeting and its audience. Pursuant to Board Policy BEDH, speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any public session or expression of personal complaints about school personnel, nor any against any person connected with the school system. And we'll call them up just as you mentioned, Ms. Wilson and Ms. Felder.
Thank you.
Thank you. You'll have 3 minutes.
Okay. The reason my subject is divorce in a normal setting in a household, if there's constant disputes among parents, a child would be in a bad state to always have to face that on a daily basis. Likewise, in a public setting, whether it be a school board, council, or whatever, there's always some dissension. It should be addressed properly. Now, back when Lyndon Baines Johnson was in office, he impaneled the Quorum Commission to explore what the relationships were as it relates to race. And after extensive research, he come back and say there's two Americas, one black, one white. And even in this environment, we know that in my humble opinion, the school board is actually run by whites, the city council by whites, the county council, the state, as well as the federal government. And because of that, perhaps we would probably be better off if we just separated. Now, I know that white people believe in separation because when they went to Africa to bring people back, they started it. They were on the top deck while the blacks were in the belly of the boat in chains. But after slavery, many enterprising people tried to reestablish themselves, so they set up schools, such as Reverend A.A. Sims. They were in Union, but later there was an emerging and it became Union High. Likewise, a slave trader over in Duncan, Burns. Then Wade Hampton, where our children had to go. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Lawrence, where Henry Lawrence was the largest slave trader in North America. There is no respectable Jew who would allow their children to attend a school named Hitler High. They probably wouldn't even let it exist in their community. But our children are forced to come to a school named after the largest slave trader in North America. That is a disgrace. And then you expect our children to be humbled down and even receive a pledge of allegiance to a flag from one nation under God.
Thank you for speaking tonight. We appreciate your time.
I'm going to finish my time.
Well, you are finished because your time is up. I appreciate you
coming before the board. One nation under God.
You may come again another night,
under the bill.
and you may sit down now. Thank you. Next up, we have Reverend Kennedy.
I want to thank you for the moment. Racism is a strange organism. For those of us who have been unjustly inflicted, I just want to say to board member Ms. Ware, I'm glad that you told the chair you had the right to speak. God bless you. This is a critical time in our history. This is the time the board comes together to make decisions on the superintendent, and I'm hoping that you all be fair and don't get into the other kind of stuff Dr. Peters had to face. She's a good woman. She cares for all children, regardless of race, creed, religion, gender, and etc. She has worked very hard, and I'm hoping the wrong kind of games do not get played when you all make that decision. There's nothing wrong with allowing the superintendent to lead. That's what she was hired for, not to be plantation owned, not to be just dictated like she's a zero. President Obama had to learn it the hard way. And it was real sad that at times he had to call in the former president, Bill Clinton, to help push legislation through. When will we make a decision that it's all right for somebody black to be the superintendent? To let them lead, to let them show and reveal all of the things that God has placed within them, because the superintendent has earned her degrees. She earned the right, she won the right to be on this board, and it angered some of the board members. It angered, and some went to work trying to undo. In Clemson, they praised their superintendent. The chair praised the superintendent. They gave the superintendent a raise. They said, "You are the right one, Dr. O'Shea." Why can't we do it in arms? You know why we can't do it? Racism still permeates throughout all America, and especially in this town named after 19th century slave trade that you never teach about, the horrors of slavery, the lynchings, the murdering, suppressing the vote, suppressing anything that reveals dignity. And I'm saying to you all, let that stuff go.
Thank you, Reverend Kennedy, for speaking tonight.
Let it go. And again, thank you, Sister Wade, because you pop it up. You got it right.
Now up to speak is Ms. Morrison.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the Senate High Alumni Association and other stakeholders in Lawrence County. Tonight we want to pay homage what is due. And we want to say thank you to Dr. Thomas, our superintendent. Since this is Thanksgiving month, Thanksgiving is coming up, we couldn't think of a more appropriate time to express our love and our sincere thanks to her for a job well done. Dr. Thomas, since this month, seeing that your evaluation is coming up this month, we, the Thomas Sanders High Alumni Association, as well as some other stockholders in this community, would like to thank you for your leadership, for your hard work, for your dedication. You give more flowers and balloons to anybody I've ever seen. When you give your report every month, I see more flowers and more balloons than I've ever seen anybody give anybody since I'm my age. So we know the challenges that you have faced, especially leading us through the district through this pandemic, as well as the hours of dedicated work that you spent here when others were at home. We say thank you. And just watch your face of joy and how you express to others your thank you. We want to do the same thing tonight. You say thank you. You say thank you not only to just the students, but you say thank you to the faculty. You say thank you to the house cleaners. You say thank you to the kitchen workers. You don't leave anybody out. So tonight we're going to pay homage to you and say thank you, Dr. Thomas, for your hard work and your dedication. May God continue to bless you and keep you in His peace.
Hallelujah. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Pop it up. Pop it up. Stand up, baby. What's up, stand up, baby? Hallelujah there. Hallelujah there. God bless you. God bless you. And listen on. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. What a kind and generous way to spend your few minutes speaking to us. Thank you. We are now ready to move into executive session, but we will need a motion to make that happen to complete the superintendent's evaluation.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor? That's unanimous. We will now enter into executive session. In open session. So I'll just read a statement and then we will move forward with action as needed. So today, November 22nd, we, the Board of District 55, have completed the evaluation of Dr. Thomas. We can agree this year has been a difficult year and we've all faced many challenges. With that being said, our overall board rating is satisfactory. We appreciate Dr. Thomas's hard work and dedication to our district, and we thank her for everything that she does for us every day. We do value your leadership and look forward to the new year ahead. Now, we did have some discussion regarding the opportunity to increase the annuity on Dr. Thomas's contract, but we would need to have a motion in order to bring that to the table.
I'll make a motion to increase Dr. Thomas's contractual annuity by 5% for a total of 15%.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
I do have discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Ware.
Annuities are good, increases are good, contractual extensions are good as well. So I just want her to know that, and let the record reflect, contract extension is really what I would like to see. Of course, we all have one vote, and I just want you to know that your work goes above and beyond the call of duty, especially the long hours that you put in. And like I said, we are a 7-man board, and you're one person. So I know it's difficult to please all 7 people. But that being said, if I could wave a magical wand, I'd give you 2 years on a contract extension. But I'm only one. So that being said, I just want you to know that your work goes above and beyond. You've done an outstanding job with the challenges you've faced already during this pandemic. No, you actually, to me, supersede any superintendent because no other superintendent has had to face a pandemic of this nature. I must say that.
Thank you, Ms. Ware.
I as well want to thank you for your excellent job this year. I was a big push on the annuity over a contract extension because I want to see you rewarded now. I don't want you to have to wait 3 more years to receive that reward. And that's just the way that I saw it. This annuity increase will substantially increase your annuity by 50% of what you're receiving now, which is going to follow you throughout the rest of your life. So I wanted to set you up for your future as well as right now, and I wanted an immediate reaction and not just something promised 3 years out. So, but again, thank you for your tremendous service and perseverance and initiative that you've taken within this year and everything that you've faced. And I just want to congratulate you on a job well done.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. I think we all can echo your comments for Dr. Thomas. Is there any further discussion?
Well, it goes without saying, you have my wholehearted support. I don't understand, how we get at this thing, because we love to talk about what other districts are doing, but I don't know, it seems like this time we want to go a different way, but I appreciate all you do. You still have my support.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Without any further discussion, we will now take a vote for the motion to increase Dr. Thomason's annuity from 10 to 15% on her contract. All those in favor?
I can go along with an annuity, even though I would love to see an extension on the contract as well. Please let the record reflect that, Ms. Wilson.
So, Anthony, did you have okay, so that's 5, Ms. Wilson, and all those opposed, 2. So the yeses have it, so we will move forward with the increase in Dr. Thomas's annuity. And with that, we are done with action for executive session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That's all you do.
All those in favor? Motion passes. We are adjourned.